Welcome to the Save Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Eric.
You fixed it.
I did.
I'm Dominic.
We are currently on episode 117, and we're happy to be joined by Justin and Joe with Palm Golf Co. Their motto is swing and smile. Make sure to give them a follow on Instagram. Their handle is at Palm Golf Co. Fellas, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us.
Thanks for having us, man.
I know both of you look kind of confused with me being excited that he fixed it. Last week he got rid of where two average golfers talk about golf and things.
Switched it up a little bit.
And I was like sitting here. I'm like, what the hell is missing?
I'm waiting for him to say his name, and he forgot that there was I took a chunk out of it.
No, I'm sitting here and I'm like, there should be more. I shouldn't be talking yet.
But in any case, I added it back in. But we're super excited to have you guys on. I know you guys have a really good following on Instagram. You make some awesome apparel, but we really just kind of want to understand more about the company, the business, kind of how you guys got into the space. So if you kind of want to just, deep dive and talk about that, we'd love to hear the story.
Cool. So pretty much, we started on a golf course. The running joke was all the time, we would always be like, I want to do this for the rest of my life, but none of us possess the ability to teach golf, let alone even qualify for any tournament other than your average scramble, which we still shoot over par because we're having too much fun. So we just talked about things about the game that we thought was lacking. And one of the things that we noticed is that the golf glove was often always neglected, right? Like everybody had the newest and latest like driver or the putter or irons, but these big manufacturers, they just kind of forgot about the golf glove. And that's kind of where we came in. We just wanted to infuse the style and the culture that we live in. Like we live in Southern California. We live in this surf culture. We like to be hiking and snowboarding and surfing. So we wanted to take that entire culture that we had and infuse that into golf. And the glove was how we all started. It was neglected. We made it stand out, but not to the point that it was so loud and so obnoxious, right? There's these different patterns and our own kind of style to it. And and that's how we began. We launched a Kickstarter and we were funded in 30 days. And we were like, okay, we got a shot at this. Like people actually are digging our product. And from there, we were shipping orders out of Joe's kitchen for a while. And then at one point we were like, all right, we have way too much product. So we need to, get a warehouse. And now we're here with two warehouses and talking to you guys on a podcast. So we're pretty pumped.
Awesome. Did you guys, or how many are there as far as like the original founders? There's like a couple of people.
Yeah. So there's three of us, myself, Justin and Joe, were the three people that kind of started it and began this journey. And it's been a wild ride. Like our whole business plan at the time, Justin was manager at a surf shop in Newport. So after hours, he closed it down and we literally wrote our entire business plan over multiple days, but in the back of a surf shop. So that's something we often leave out, but we were talking about that the other day. Joe mentioned it, like we wrote our entire business plan in a surf shop. And I was like, we need to talk about that more often.
That's so cool. It's interesting. What year was it?
Joe, do you remember?
2017. Well, technically, I'd say the development and the work on the glove was already happening late 2016. Took a bit, went through a couple of rounds of sampling, and before we went to market with the Kickstarter, it was late 2017, and then we started actually filling orders in 2018.
So with like the Kickstarter, you come up with a plan. Did you have like any product in production at this point, or was it more or less like, let's just see if we can raise the funds, like maybe you had some like samples or whatnot, or like, can you tell us a little bit about the story about the Kickstarter campaign?
Yes. Yeah. Kickstarter was used in two ways. One, it was like, it's a really good way to kind of like validate that you have market share, that you have interest in your product. And that's what's really cool about how they model it anyway. It's basically like risk-free for the people who become pledgers for what you're doing on the campaign. So say we had set a goal of $10,000 and 30 days comes up and you don't get enough pledges to meet that $10,000. It's risk-free for the people who pledged and they get their money back. And then your company is then not funded. Give me a sec. These dogs are going to flip out because my wife's coming home. But then it was like, it also,
in my chair.
Oh, that's good.
No worries.
So it helped validate market, but then it also like subsidized a lot of the production costs that we already put out of our own pockets to get the first round done. So we had two different ways. We had a couple different like tranches we set up for Kickstarter. And part of it was like, if you're an early bird pledger, you got your gloves, and it was the ones that we had already produced and they were on our way to us. We're already here in the US, right? And then the others, it was like, because you pledged, now by, I believe we said by December of 2018, you were going to start getting your product in hand.
Very cool. That's got to be a huge part of the success, right? At least, I mean, I said that's kind of like bootstrap.
Well, it's so interesting because I know what GoFundMe and stuff like that is and stuff like that. I don't know how any of that works. That was super interesting to kind of Kickstarter. Yeah. I didn't know. I've heard of it. A lot of my camera gear is from Wandered, and they were a big Kickstarter company, and I wasn't a pledge then because
you weren't a pledgee.
No, because now I get a discount, so it's even better. I never knew that's how all that worked. Or if you just don't raise the money, you just don't get it.
It's a huge way to like tap into like, I mean, social media is huge, obviously, right? For companies. I mean, that's where a lot of.
Well, I think it's great. Like they said, it's, do we have something here? And if you get, people backing you, you're like, oh man, there's a shot here. Like that's really interesting. I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm. So what did you
like
guys?
Your friends
sorry, you can go into this a little bit. What did you guys set for your bar?
It was very minimal. We only asked for like 7K, and by day 3, we had already raised 10K. So it was almost like there was a little bit of like, for all our thumbs, we're like, damn, did we just leave a bunch of funding on the table? Could we have pushed this further? But really, like, we were pretty intentional with being like, honestly, we were looking to just get square on some of the money that we had output, and then make sure that we could support doing that next round to pay for stuff to get the pledgees their product and to make sure that, we delivered. That's the other side of that coin.
That's kind of funny.
With you asking for 7K and you getting 10, do you get that extra, or does it just cap it at 7?
Yeah. So go
ahead, Dust.
One of the cool things is like, you're basically buying into these different levels, right? So like some people could purchase 1 glove, some people could purchase 3 gloves, and the more gloves you purchase, kind of the better deal you are receiving. So like Joe said, like, after the end of the 30 days, we were like, wow, we actually have something. Like people actually think this is a good idea, because in the beginning, when we were starting it, before we even launched it, people were like, it's a good idea, but like, who's going to buy a golf glove with a colored pattern on it? Who's going to buy a golf glove with a palm tree when they live in Chicago? And we're like, I don't know, but we know it's going to work. And kind of that Kickstarter was that validation that I think we all needed to like receive, to know that we had a chance at doing something unique. And now we ship it all over the country, which is awesome.
Yeah. It's a great story. Like I said, I've been kind of following you guys for quite some time and hearing kind of how the whole Kickstarter, how it started to where you guys are at now. It's incredible. So, and it's a lot of the guests that we've had on recently, because we kind of try to cover a wide range of different entrepreneurs, companies, but a lot of them are they started during COVID, right? And it's kind of the same thing. Like that was one of the only things they could do is play golf. And so they were able to kind of come up with an idea and go that way. So it's kind of cool. Like you guys kind of started pre-COVID and really taken off.
Yeah, it was, for sure. It was pretty crazy, the whole COVID era, right? Like we started in 2017, 2018, we're shipping out of Joe's kitchen. I want to say by 2019, we finally had our first warehouse. And around that time, we had the opportunity. Dick's Sporting Goods reached out to us and we're like, hey, we want to carry your gloves. Like we're going to do a sample order. So they do the small order. It does so well. They go to do the second order and they place a really large order with us. And we're all pumped. Wow. And then all of a sudden COVID hits and they're like, we're canceling all POs. Like, we don't want any of this. And we were just like, we're now over leveraged. Like we have so much product. We don't know what to do with it. And, obviously working in a warehouse, like our sales, because everything's direct to consumer, just shot through the roof. So by that time in summer, DSG reaches back out to us and says, hey, we'll take all that product. And we're like, we don't have it. We sold it through. And we were just like, really, it was like a gift and a curse at the same time, because at one point we think we're screwed. At the next point, we're sitting here just like, man, if they didn't cancel these POs, we would have been stuck because factories are closed down. People aren't working. Like we would have been in a far worse predicament. So
that was almost like the second validator. It was like, cool. Like we got to market and we started like actually having overhead. at that time, I mean, we were still, you know, still bootstrapping it. Like we really did do a good job of just kind of self-funding as long as we could. And like, yeah, the COVID thing was like, that was a coin flip where you're just like, dude, like, is this all going away overnight over something we can't control at all, like just completely out of our hands? And then it ended up being a catalyst. And COVID definitely was one of those things where it's just like you get through that, and then you learn a lot about yourself and about your company, what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and it was just a really like, yeah, it was an eye-opening thing.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling to know. It's like, man, like all this product, how are we gonna move it? And then all of a sudden, you're like, it's gone. When Dix reaches back out, you're just
Yeah.
like, hey,
Sorry.
we sold it all.
Yeah.
Just your guys, and I think that's really cool. I remember when you got a box from Palm back in the day, you're
Yeah.
like, dude, check this stuff out. And I was like, that's really cool. And you said, hey, you can have this. And I was like, cool. What is it? It was, I don't know if you guys remember, you guys had this little gold divot tool, bottle
Oh, yeah.
opener, and then it would hold the putter.
Yep.
I have one from back in the day. And from that moment on, I've been like following you guys and like a fan, and it's super cool to hear kind of the backstory to everything, like, yeah, Dick's is a huge company and a huge brand.
Yeah, because you think you like, oh, I made it. You get a PO from Dick's Sporting Goods. You're like, oh, we made it.
And
It's a
then
company.
COVID happens and you're like, damn,
So, yeah.
we're screwed. And then, it's do or die, right? For a lot of companies.
Yeah.
And the consumers are just like, fuck it, we'll order everything from you. So that's super cool to kind of learn about.
I mean, I love one of my favorite things is, I don't know if you've ever read the book Shoe Dog, but it's all about Phil Knight.
You just read it.
Finished it. Yeah. Great book.
It's amazing. It's like one of those books that you read, and it's not all the good things that happen in Nike, right? It's all the bad things. And I think us being a very like big but small brand, like, the things that don't really get talked about are the struggle that it takes you to get to the point that you're at, right? Like, Joe always does a really good job of like, hey, we got to take a second to like look back and talk about like all of this cool stuff we did, because, when you're in it day to day and there's always something going wrong and you're just putting out fires left and right. Like you look back and you're like, wow, like that problem happened and we like solved it. Like we came out the other end and we came out better than what we thought we were going to be, like where we were going to be. So, I mean, reading that book and then, feeling, obviously we're not Nike, but like feeling like when you read the struggles that Phil Knight went through, and then you're dealing with those same things, you're just like, man, I can't wait to talk about this on a podcast someday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like the milestoning. It's funny just even hearing about the divot tool. Sorry, but even just bringing up that divot tool, like, it's weird. Like there's times where you're like, when we're in the warehouse and we'll stumble across, like we try and be pretty intentional to keep older product off to the side just to like memorialize it and know, like, see the progression. And like that divot tool actually is a product that hasn't changed since we started. Like sometimes we actually get it right on the first try. Other times it's like, no, dude, you got to do some work. Like the glove has gone through multiple iterations, and like that's something that we'll always be paying attention to make sure that like it, the things that we feel really strongly about, like we can do the style side of it, but we do want to be making sure that we're like also improving the quality and just keep coming with something that like delivers on multiple levels too. So
I was going to mention, so you're talking about Shoe Dog, and obviously the original brand was Blue Ribbon. Are you guys going to have a book one day and it's going to actually be like you guys had a different name before you came up with Palm Golf Co.?
I hope not. I mean, alone just like from like trademarking perspectives, like I'm like, damn, could we have picked a better name? Like Palm is a phenomenal name just because,
awesome,
you the golf club, palm of your hand, right? Like you go and travel on vacation, right? Most people, unless you're me, who likes to go on vacation to the mountains, snowboarding, like everybody's going to a tropical island. You see palm trees, you feel good. And that was like, we were just like, this is perfect synergy. And then it came to like trademarking things and like people using palm trees on everything and just that kind of little nightmare. So, I mean, I don't think we're changing our name anytime soon, but, we look back about that and we laugh. We're just like, man, that was a very difficult trademark.
When you guys back in 2020 with all this, the COVID and all that, did you guys work full time in a different company? Or you guys full time all at Palm? Like, what was kind of the situation like there?
I would imagine you guys could still like fulfill orders in the warehouse, right? You could just only have so many people doing it. I could be wrong.
Well, that's like the beauty of it, right? Like we started this, I mean, and we all had full-time jobs. We were doubling down, right? Like, at one point I'm waking up at 5 a.m. I'm a teacher. So like I'd wake up at 5 a.m., do a bunch of stuff, go teach for the day. I'd be back in the warehouse by 3:30 and then I'd be home by like 5:36. Like Joe's working out of the warehouse, working remotely for his job. Justin's doing the same. So we kind of just really burn both ends of the candle. Like one thing that doesn't get talked about, like when you are trying to build something, right? Like you have to burn both ends of the candle. Like, as a teacher, right? I go to work, I do my job, and then at 2:35, I leave. I'm gone, right? And the day's done. Or wherever you're working, like your day ends when you leave the office. Like being a business owner, there will be text messages being sent between Justin, Joe, and myself at 5 a.m. and 11:30, 12 o'clock. Sometimes Joe will text us at 2 a.m. and I'll text him the next morning being like, hey man, you could not sleep last night, huh? And he was like, nope, no sleep was happening last night because we're trying to fix something or make something better or deal with some sort of manufacturer or payment from a large big box retailer. So
do you guys any of you have any background in business or golf before this? I know you said you kind of started on the golf course, but in your teacher, what about
golf? No. Business, I mean, yes. I came from right out of college. Well, actually during college, I was working for like a mid-sized mortgage company based out of New Jersey, where I'm from. And I was doing that all through school. And then when I graduated, I kind of just fell into a position working in like capital markets. So like I had experience on like the service end of like working with sales guys, getting to see what that environment's like how those guys drive business. And then had some management experience. So like it'd be a lie to be like, no, there was no crossover at all. Like there's things that you can take away, whether it's regardless of what you do, like you can find ways to apply what you do to your business. Right. And,
sure.
but I will say that's been like largely one of my favorite things about Palm too. It's just like, not being in this space. First off, the relationship building is awesome. And then like, I love golf. So it's really cool that our path has led us into an industry that like I liked before this. And now I like really, really love it. And then you learn a ton of shit, whether it be for like bad reasons or good reasons. You learn a lot. You get forced into learning things that you didn't think you needed to learn how to do. Like, and that could be really important shit, or that could be like, hey man, you got to learn how to wrap a pallet at 10 o'clock at night because you got to get an order out the door. So it's like the best. It's the beauty of it. It's the worst thing at that moment, but like it's also the best stories in retrospect too. So
I remember I got promoted back in like May, and they're like, Dom, you got to wrap this pallet. I was like, I got to do what now? They're like, you take this plastic and you wrap it. I was like, what? Where do I? Well, they kept calling it a skid. I was like, what the hell is a skid?
Yeah. What's a skid?
I know. And they're like the wooden things. I'm like, it's a pallet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that's just like a Minnesota thing. And then they're like, no. I was like, oh, it's a pallet. I had to learn how to wrap those. And now I wrap them all the time. I know your pain. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. If I had to teach somebody how to wrap a pallet, I couldn't do it.
We have a warehouse.
It's all feel. It's like golf, man. It's all feel.
Yeah.
It is cool though. Like you said, you have to learn like all facets of the business. And I'd imagine, like, said, from taxes to which would be terrible to do, all that kind of like book work. You just want to put something that you love and enjoy and you want to sell it. And then you realize like, oh, it's like there's other components to the company. So I'd imagine, there's a lot of, you're learning something new every day.
Yeah. And it's not being forced on you like a school agenda, right? Like it's like the motivation's a little bit different. Like for me in school, it was like, I got to learn this thing for a brief period so I can spit it back and then get a grade and move on in life. But like with Palm, it's like, no, I am motivated to learn stuff for different reasons because it's like, I want to be able to like be a contribution. So it's much easier. That applied knowledge is a lot easier. So I'll never forget how to wrap a pallet for sure.
I always joke. Yeah, Joe, I laugh, like Joe mentions that, and I just remember the day, right? Like that was when Justin had his first child at that moment, and he's like from home, he's at home. Joe and I, we just moved to our second warehouse at this point, and there's a 25-page like guidance book that they send us, and I'm like, I don't have time to read this, and Joe's looking at me like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, we just got to wrap these pallets and ship them, and like it is what it is. Like we're gonna get some chargebacks, but we have no idea what to do. So, but I mean, the cool thing, like Joe was saying, like, I mean, I always joke, or even now, I say all the time, like, I earned my master's in business through Google and YouTube because I have spent hours researching and learning, right? Like, you start a business, like, you care about it, like, you're going to research so hard and learn every facet of the business. Joe with sales and doing all of the stuff as it relates to dealing with all of our taxes and paying taxes in multiple states and balancing our books, to me doing production and managing like samples and all of that, to Justin with graphic design and doing all of our marketing and meeting with our marketing agency to, you know, come up with plans 3 months from now. So, I mean, it's just stuff that we're learning on the fly, and none of us came from a golf background. We all have, you know, unique experiences that I think help build our brand, and which also really helped us like not essentially get in these arguments, because we all had these own silos that we knew that we could be very resourceful in and thrive in those different environments.
Very cool. Now you guys started with gloves, obviously. When did you guys kind of decide like, hey, you know, we got a good thing going on? You guys obviously now sell all sorts of polos, quarter zips, hats.
The hoodies are cool.
Hoodies, yeah, I like the quarter zip and the polo. I mean, we like all of your products, but when was the turning point of like, hey, we're on to something. Let's move on to something else. Yeah, you want to crack that because it's hot in here. Sorry, go ahead.
Appreciate it.
So Joe always wanted to wear our product off of the golf course, and he would get a lot of weird looks when he would wear our golf glove to the bar. Like people just like didn't understand that. And he was like, hey, you know, like I think we should expand into other products because I can't be wearing a golf glove out to dinner or to the bar.
That's a salesman right there. That's good. I like the move.
I was trying not to leave any prints anywhere, bro. I had I had ulterior motives.
Wearing two of them.
International man of mystery.
So we just kind of were like, we can't wear any of this off the course. So we started making headwear, and our hat, like we had this brand and these marks, right? Our script that's on my hoodie and or my crew neck and his hoodie right now, to our palm tree logo. And we just kind of started, like, let's make some headwear. Like I could wear a hat every single day, and like, you know, you don't get weird looks if you wear the same hat every day. You get weird looks if you wear the same, you know, t-shirt or sweatshirt every day. So it started with the hat, and that really kind of just took off. And next thing you know, we're making a variety of hats, and kind of just snowballed from there. We were like, oh, let's get into the polos. Let's get into sweatshirts. And it kind of all just, you know, it took off from there. I mean, the pieces that we have now, like in our line, like the windbreaker, you know, being a direct to consumer brand, like it's so hard to let people understand how good the quality is, right? Because from the outsider, you're like, I don't know this brand. I never heard of them before. Like, why would I pay this much for a windbreaker? But it all comes down to like when Joe's meeting with a buyer at a country club, to when somebody purchases it online and they feel it and they're just like, this is legit. And we're like, yeah, we know. We just
been telling you.
People need to actually feel it, you know, like people have to understand how good the product is and get it into their hands. So that's been our one thing that we're trying to improve on, especially as it comes to the windbreaker, because I mean, that to me is one of our proudest pieces that we have out as it relates to apparel, along with our, you know, polos and everything. But the windbreaker is just money.
It's like you seen that Instagram with the Louis Vuitton marketing ad. Have you seen that recently on Instagram, where it's like it looks like a Louis Vuitton wallet, and it's a piece of paper, and then he opens it up and it's like Chinese food coupons. It's like, that's what you guys need. You guys need to put like your material like inside, you know, just a little sample size,
like a swatch.
Yeah, like a little swatch, but fold it up like a Louis Vuitton. You know, get somebody.
It's not a bad idea, man.
Genius marketing. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's download this after the podcast. We have to have a new marketing consultant.
We're going to have to talk after this.
I'm gonna write that down and be like, reach out to my manufacturer, like send me fabric swatches because I'm gonna just start throwing them in boxes.
See, I think we're onto something. This is all about this podcast. We just brainstorm ideas while we're talking.
Okay, you can pay us for that too.
Hey,
yeah, we'll take a cut.
It's a good idea. Like I actually really like it. I'm like, man, can I just reach out and be like, can you just send us a couple of yards of extra fabric? Like
you could pay us in gloves and t-shirts.
Yeah, like a royalty. They're like a royalty. See, well, that's again like I saw this video on Instagram. I'm like, I have the reason why though. I have the Louis Vuitton wallet. My wife got it for me as a gift, and I'm like, that does look just like a Louis Vuitton wallet. And say when he pulled it open and he folded it out, it was Chinese food coupons. I'm like, when you talk about the fabric, you guys have all the contacts, right?
It might be better than
you just put those little swatches on. We're onto something.
Well, what's better than Chinese food coupons?
Nothing.
No, I'd take Chinese food.
I'm with Dom on this.
Yeah.
I think we just start making Chinese food.
Yeah.
There's no Chinese food restaurant by us right now. Like I eat a lot. I just ate Thai food literally for dinner. My wife was like, I want Thai food. I was like, lock it in. Let's go. Because there's
Chinese food for sure.
I know. It's like, I feel like I miss that from New Jersey. That's one thing I do miss. Chinese food and bagels and pizza.
New Jersey, you're in California. So how did you guys meet? I didn't even answer that question.
They met in New Jersey.
Nope.
No. This is why I asked the question.
All of us are from New Jersey. We all moved out here at like various times. So like Palm's founding story actually is like literally, we moved out at various times. Dustin's wife and my wife worked together at a company called Surfline. And they got along very well. And they're like, yo, you got to hang out with Joe. He doesn't have any friends here. So Dustin was pretty well established. And I just moved here. I was working remotely. I didn't have I really had no outlet. I was just like, all right, I guess I got to go out at some point and have a social life. And was fortunate enough to meet Dustin and then Justin as well. And like our thing was golf, and we golfed together a lot. And then like the company was founded on a golf course genuinely. And like the foundation of our friendship was through golf as well. So like definitely have an attachment to it for sure. And that's why I feel like it's pretty easy for the authenticity to like bleed through in what we do, because it's facts. Like that's actually how this started.
Do you ever try to like sell your golf glove or to like promote your golf glove and you see like a psychopath without a golf glove? Like what's your reaction to that? Like who doesn't wear a golf glove? Just bare hands.
Oh, like, dude, that's a potential customer. Like, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, I don't know what you're doing right there, but I got something for you.
Man.
Yeah, my favorite is a guy that wears two gloves. I'm like, you're double as important to me.
We're golfing together. We need to talk. That's awesome.
It's funny though, like, I mean, Joe remembers when it happened because like Justin and I, we had this idea and we were just kind of like going back and forth and brainstorming like, hey, what can we do? What can we do? Like, when I was playing golf, I was wearing all surf apparel, right? Like anything that was surf branded. I didn't really have any actual golf clothing at that point. I was still wearing Vans while golfing, still kind of do at times. And Joe was always just like, hey, this is a great idea. Like if you ever need investors. And we were just like, you just want to be a part of this, Joe? And Joe's like, yeah, sure. And, he came along and he's done an awesome job and all the things that he does in it. So it is kind of funny. I mean, Joe remembers the whole in Costa Mesa. I have no idea. I have a terrible golf memory.
Hole six at Mesa Linda. Little par 3. It's like one of the shortest ones on the course, actually.
That was just sick.
Sunday afternoon, 74 degrees.
I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, so you guys obviously have some very cool apparel. What piece is your guys' favorite, personally?
I'll let Joe go first.
Yeah, I did. It's the Barrels and Birdies glove. So that's the one that there was 2 gloves that were part of our Kickstarter, actually. It was the Barrels and Birdies, which is a floral, like tropical surf inspired print. It's one of the few that actually has made it from 2017 to been in the line every single year that we've had the business, even when we've gone through changes with the glove. It's just remained a favorite because it's like the sentimental of it. But like I love everything we make, and I mean that sincerely. Like I'm not even just doing the sales pitch right now, but like I'm proud to put on everything that we wear. I've never once been like, damn, this is cheap. Like, I feel bad even selling this. Like, I really do believe in everything we make, because we started with the attention to detail on a glove, and then we just made sure that that same intention was applied every time we went into something else. So, passionate about most stuff we make, but the glove for sure just has a special place.
I think for me, I mean, I'll rip through it. My favorite glove in the line right now is the Sea Isle glove, because of the pattern itself. But also I named it after the beach that I always went to as a kid and grew up going to. So that has like a lot of that sentimental feeling to me every time I rock the Sea Isle glove. My favorite hat of all time is going to always be our local trucker hat, because that was first hat we ever made. So, every hat's awesome, but the trucker hat is still my favorite just because it's the first one. And yeah, I mean, those are the two go-tos. Obviously, I love the new Uptown polo that's going to come out in a few weeks, and then the windbreaker. So if I went through all, like, those are the main things that I'm very proud of and passionate about.
Do you guys all kind of brainstorm together on these designs?
Yeah, that's the cool thing. So we, Justin and I will spend a lot of time coming up with different designs and patterns and ideas of things that we want to make, and ideas that we have. Then we all kind of spend the time coming up with different names for different products. And then if you actually go on our website, something that's often overlooked for the most of our stuff, especially the gloves, is like the descriptions that are written behind that. And a lot of that's Joe. Joe's like, he's the wordsmith. So if you see the comments that are hit on Instagram that are really witty and funny, or you read some of the reasoning behind the products, like each product name has a meaning to something that we love doing, or, has some sort of, memory attached to it. And then Joe kind of uses that to write the description of what that product is.
I was going through the website. I really like the Getaway quarter zip. I mean, obviously all the products, like you said, you guys, you don't just sell product to sell product, which I like your answer earlier about how you guys believe in everything or what you sell. But the Getaway quarter zip is sweet. I like the quarter zips. And then the Navy Overlook polo. It's got like kind of a floral palm tree print on it.
Like, for example, look what Joe has on right now. It's the backup hoodie. And that was like a big swing and a miss, right? We thought it was a home run. I'm like, this thing is spongy. It's perfect for Minnesota, man. I wanted to call it the Northeast. Like, it's spongy. It's got some weight to it. It's such a good, when you feel it, it's amazing. But it was a swing and a miss. And, sometimes that happens. Like, it was not one of our strongest sellers, but it is a staple that we're wearing every single day, especially when those chillier days exist.
Sometimes that's how it works, right? The things that you think are going to be like, that's the golden ticket, that's going to really move, is the exact opposite. Some things like designs that you put out there might be.
We had a reel like that, like, you're like, dude, we're like, the Stanley Cup reel is going to crush it. And it didn't. And the one that crushed it was us talking about Captain Crunch.
Yeah. We were doing like rapid fire questions with a guest. And I was like, that wasn't the whole Stanley craze. I'm like, hey, let's just flip that, cut that out. People talk about it's the Stanley thing, and
nobody cared.
And then yeah, we did we're talking about Captain Crunch cereal, and that one took off.
That was the one that popped. I was like, what the hell?
But that's our intro. It's golf and things. We talk about food, golf, we talk about all sorts of stuff. So
well, tell us.
It's hard not to take it personally too. When you're like, damn, this is a great idea. Like, this is it. And you're like, no one else agrees. You're like,
yeah.
Like, what? That was
brilliant. when you asked it, I was like, what the hell are we doing? Because I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't tell me. I was like, this is dumb. And then he's like, dude, clip it. It'll be good. And I was like, okay. So I clipped it.
Clearly, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
And the one that popped was this time of peanut butter Captain Crunch absolutely destroying the roofs of our mouths.
So
yeah. Dude, that's facts.
Little backstory.
That's super relatable. That's why I popped, because everybody's felt that feeling where you're like, nothing's going to taste right for a week after this, but it's worth it in the moment.
Oh yeah.
Clearly the demographic of Stanley Cup owners don't listen to our podcast. You know what I mean?
Thank God.
Yeah. It's just the wrong market.
Exactly. Yeah. So for a little background, I normally come up with questions, and I try to change them up every so often, but we always do rapid fire questions at the end. And so I just kind of randomly popped in a couple just random questions. And that was when the people were like storming Starbucks for the red Stanley Cup, you know, and then reselling it on StockX for $400.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe we'll get some hits on this, but yeah, no, it was a flop.
That 2 was a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Can't all be
It's
winners.
all good. It happens, right? That's, you know, you learn from it. No big deal.
Yeah, now we don't talk about cups anymore.
It's a volume game, man.
It really is.
I'm kind of excited for your rapid fire questions now.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot, but we do have some. So we'll definitely,
Well, we can think of some.
No big deal.
I had a couple pop in my head, but I forgot to text you them. So next week.
So maybe you'll remember though.
Oh no, I remember them. It's just you have
for next week.
Yeah, you will. One of them you have to like prepare for.
Okay.
Unless you, we'll ask.
Okay.
I have some rapid fire questions for you two at the end too.
I love that. Yeah. There we go. We've never had a guess at reversing the role on us. All right.
See, the issue is like I'm chaotic. So like you don't know what I'm gonna answer or what I'm gonna say. And then there's Derek, who you're like, oh, he's gonna be super nice, respectful. And I'm just like, no. Whatever comes up is coming up.
We're going rogue.
No filter.
You can. So I've done a handful of these alone, and they're all like an hour and a half, 2 hours, because it's just like nuts. And I always have to apologize to the guests because I'm like, Derek's the one who keeps me in check. Derek's got the computer next to us with all the questions. I'm like, so when it's just me, it's just me, and I'm like, this is not going to be good.
Dude, everybody needs that balance, right? So there's a fourth partner. His name's Craig. He's our chief strategy officer, and I'd say he's our Derek because he's like, hey man, like we can't do everything.
I like Craig already.
Let's relax a little second. Let's just dial it back for a minute. Like let's focus on the right thing for a moment. But yeah, that's the balance. That's the beauty of any working relationship.
For sure. We have good balance. That's for sure. More questions here for you guys. And so if there's anything you guys want to add, feel free to. But do you guys have like an affiliate program or anything like that?
We do actually now. Yeah. So it's something that we're trying to be like way more intentional about this year. So like not to get into the boring stuff, but like marketing for us, it's been pretty like cut and dry. It's like you email people, you advertise, you spend money on digital advertising, and like we recognize now at the size we're getting to, like we need to kind of, figure out a way to be a little bit more dynamic. And affiliate program is one of those things where that's a lever we know we can pull and like have people become advocates for us and like extend their reach to people that we're potentially not talking to or like we have in some capacity, but an affiliate puts them over the edge, right? So definitely trying to do a lot more of that this year and like really formalize a program there.
I skipped over this question I was going to ask earlier. Do you guys have like you guys like wholesale to other companies, for example, like Safe Par, like we're hosting an event or something like that, or doing something, and I reach out to you that, hey, I want my logo on this, still want your logos or whatever, but is that something you guys do?
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
Awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
You do.
Yeah. So like the wholesale stuff is like another big side of the business right now. Like we like basically, like Dustin was saying, right? Because the timing, we basically like jumped the line. It was like direct to consumer, major retailers. And like, we never really had the opportunity to do, that's really not the progression. Usually it's like, you got to get boots on the ground, like show up to golf courses, small shops, work your way up and like have that, like that kind of growth. And we sort of just jumped the line. It was like a cheat code in a way, but now we're kind of like going backwards and we're like, no, we do need to kind of go in our own backyard and show up to these courses and offer a wholesale program, be able to do embroidery, be dynamic, give these people something that like they're going to want at their courses. So a lot of that right now in corporate events and corporate custom products. So we're doing a lot of that stuff now.
Yeah, we've done some stuff with like some major people like Diageo. So we did like a lot of like Kettle One and Johnny Walker, like towels and gloves, and Pepsi was one of them. But then we also do like country clubs or golf events, right? Like we will put their logo on, different towels. We're doing some really cool stuff with Golf Digest right now, which is pretty cool. Got like 4 different style towels that we're doing with them. So yes, the answer, Derek, is we will 100% be a part of any golf outing you have. You just got to hit us up and you got to give us a little bit of advanced time on that so that we can definitely align everything.
So if we're hypothetically speaking here, right? Hypothetically, if we're throwing one in about like 5-ish months, is that enough leeway?
That's more than
plenty
enough.
of, yeah. We
Okay,
can.
perfect. Yeah, we'll
That's where we get to have like fun. Yeah, that's where we get to have fun because there's enough time to do some like creative stuff.
Yeah, the worst is when somebody hits us up and like, we need it in 15 days. We're like, that's not happening. 30 days, not happening. But if you give us a little bit extra time, like we can really make some awesome custom stuff. We've done a lot that we've been super proud of, and working with some of those companies and even smaller brands. It's just been awesome. So anybody
send
listening,
me that swatch flyer so we have some samples.
I was going to send you the whole thing, dude. I'm just going to
there we go. There we go. I love it.
Put together your shopping list. Joe will mail it out to you this week.
Yeah,
We're gonna end up with a big sheet.
Yeah, it's gonna like.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
An old scroll.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I was on your website earlier. We talked about that, but you guys are offering a big warehouse discount right now. What's this all about?
So the biggest thing is like we have a ton of stuff coming in. We have a bunch of gloves, a bunch of hats, a couple of new polos. I think it's like 4 new polos. Like we have all this stuff coming in, and at some point we need to clear some space on our shelves or even our backstock area. Like it's just overflowing. So we need a little bit extra room. So some of the products we were like, all right, we can part ways with this, hook some people up, get them into, seeing what our product is and understanding the quality of it, and getting it at a great deal, right? Everybody loves, some good deals. So anywhere from headwear to shorts and pants to a couple polos are on sale. And I think we have even the backup hoodie that I'm very adamant about. That's on there as well.
Yeah. We'll make sure to, we'll do some clips. Down, we'll cut some clips. Probably nothing Stanley related because that won't work.
I don't think you understand how it works.
I know.
I don't do shit.
Well, yeah, but you have to do something to get the clip. You're not like cutting it or cropping it or anything.
I still don't think you understand what
it's an app. Yeah, I get it. It just imports it in there. Yeah.
When's the last time you put some clippers on your hair, bro?
Ooh, ask my stylist because she will yell at you.
You have great flow. Like look, I got some good flow hiding in here.
You got a nice flow too. Yeah.
I got some flow, not your flow, not your
not
style,
like this.
Yeah.
Because I live in Minnesota, it gets cold.
Man, I can't get it past like a specific point in my hair before I end up just buzzing it, man.
It's kind of like a beard, right? Like once you get a beard past a certain point and it stops getting itchy, you're like, okay, I can do it. Once your hair gets past like that weird awkward phase where you're like, what the hell is this? Then it just goes.
I'm still waiting for over the hill. I'm waiting for the day that he just cuts his hair and his beard.
He puts
we met in college and I met him just like this, and he literally just and so
I graduated high school like this.
You're right. So I'm like, he'd probably come over to the podcast so I wouldn't even recognize him. He just shows up
confused.
Yeah, like
you think that you're this random person walking into my house
and calling the cops.
He'd be like, he's got Dom's bag.
Yeah, who's this guy?
Well, you haven't cut your hair in years, obviously, it seems like. So, like, the weirdest thing, if you ever actually do cut your hair, because I tend to do it once a year, you shake it out, right? And when your hair is real short, you shake it out and nothing but your brain feels like it's rattling in your head because your head is, like, so much lighter than it ever was in the past. I don't know how many years you've had your hair like that.
Haven't had anybody, like, trim it or cut it. Probably a couple years. I was the best man in a wedding, so I got it trimmed up then to like look okay. I don't think they were super thrilled with how short I didn't cut it.
I actually got extensions. He didn't cut it.
It looked pretty good in pictures. But yeah, ever since then, I've been meaning to go back. And when I thought about it, I was like, it's gonna be winter in like 3 weeks. I'm like, it's not really a point. And now we don't really have a winter.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Now I know as soon as I get it cut, it's gonna fucking snow like 10 feet. So
the day that you trim it up, it'll be.
Yeah. So I am holding Minnesota's winter together by not cutting my hair.
You do rock it well, but I would just love to see it like just shaped and like just different because I've never, what I mean?
I tend to cut it when I
comes in one day. It's got like a high fade. You're like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. A high fade. That's typically what I'll do. High fade and taper my beard.
Eventually, it'll become hard to sleep with. That's when I'll trim it up, shorten it, thin it, stuff like that. Because eventually, I just can't sleep with it, and then it's too much.
Yeah, but
It's impressive.
I don't even know how we got on that hair topic.
You were talking about
either, but
clips.
Oh yeah, Clippers.
Oh, Clips. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
When's the last time
that really transpired into a whole new. Then he went down the rabbit hole.
When's the last time there was like clippers on your hair? I was like, I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so a couple more questions. I always like to ask this question, especially for you guys. I think this is a good question. But what is like one piece of advice you'd give to an entrepreneur that's looking to start a company, not necessarily a golf related company, but just in general? Like after you guys have started a business, like what's the piece of advice you guys would share with them?
Oof.
That's a big one.
Dust, you can get honors on that one.
Man, I don't really like. I have a couple different things that I think I could say here. So I'm trying to figure out like what is the one piece of advice. I think like the biggest thing is just like there's always a way. There's always a way, and it all comes down to figuring out how you're getting yourself out of these situations, whether it be stuck with inventory, whether it be, retailers not paying you on time. Like you just have to be resourceful, right? Like there's always somebody that can help you out. There's always somebody that has some sort of wisdom that can guide you in some direction. So I think the biggest thing is just always knowing that there's a way out. Like you can solve the problem. You just need to figure out that way. And I mean, that's how I look at it for the most part. Like that is the number one thing that I think has always helped us. Any problem that arises, like we're always problem solving. This isn't working. How do we make it better? How do we fix it? What can we do? How can we improve it? And I mean, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Great answer.
I think like there's two big ones. I guess the first one would just be like, accept what you don't know. Right. And then do something about that, whether that's just like you go and find somebody who does know what they're talking about, or just be more than willing to put your head down and spend the time and effort to make sure that you can learn what you don't know. Right. And so, and have that willingness to like not be the loudest person in the room and know when it's your turn to listen. Cause that's like, it's very valuable. Like I've always kind of lived by that even before this, where it's just like, no, I'll accept when I'm not right. And then I'll also be vocal when I feel like I am. And then just, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, love everything about being an entrepreneur. It's really, really, really ugly at times, and it's really, really difficult, but you have to love that side of it as much as you love your wins. Otherwise there's no point in doing it. And you won't make it, quite frankly. Like you have to enjoy the failures as much as you enjoy the success.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you said it perfectly, right? Like I took a picture last weekend. It was Friday the 16th at 2:15 in the morning. And I was like, I couldn't sleep. And I had all these things running in my mind. And I knew at 6 a.m. I'm sitting in the warehouse filming 2 different videos by myself. And like Joe said, like the good and the bad. And you just kind of like, you accept it and you run with it. And it's a game. And like the highs are the high and the lows are low. And you just have to find a way through both of them. You can't get too greedy at the top, and you can't stay at the bottom forever. So
those are great answers. We had Fiore Golf on last week, and his was to be like passionate, basically, kind of like what you said, like loving what you do, because you have the passion and love for it. It really isn't a job. It's something that you truly wake up and enjoy doing every day. And to your point too, I love your point. I think the hardest part is people do reject, they hate failure. Nobody really likes failure, but the biggest thing is just taking that step forward and doing it. And I think a lot of people don't, because of that. They're scared that they don't have the answers. They don't, know what they're doing on certain pieces of the business.
I wholeheartedly think success comes from failure.
For sure.
Right. Like,
100%.
If you're winning every time, you're probably not doing it right. Because I feel like failure is a great way to learn. The issue is when a lot of people fail, they stop.
Yeah.
It's how do you correct that failure, get back up, keep it moving, stuff like that. You guys were talking about how Joe's hoodie was not a banger. I think it's a banger. Love the color too.
Yeah, but very Midwest color.
But it's like, how do you retool it? How do you come back from it? And not everything's going to be a win. You guys said it best. It's just all about overcoming that failure.
I mean, I think
they say it's like the worst thing. The worst thing that can happen when you go, like, you ever been to a casino? When you turn 21, you go to a casino, you sit down and play blackjack. The absolute like worst thing that can happen is you win a bunch of money the first time you play, right? Because then you think that that's the norm. You think you're just a winner, right? And then the next time you go back there, you win or you lose 10x what you won the first time, right? And like I'd rather recognize and enjoy the loss and like learn something from that rather than just being like, it always came easy. I always won. I always won. I always won. I mean, granted, I also like winning, but like it really at this stage that we're at right now, Dustin referenced it earlier. Like there are times where you want to just sit down and be like, can we just have a minute to reflect that like a lot of good stuff happened, but then it is a very quick like, okay, now like back to work because we haven't won yet, so we got to get back to work. So
yeah, like I mean, the passionate thing, like I do agree with him a lot in the sense that like, you know, it never becomes a job. But I mean, dude, I am passionate about running this business, but there are for sure times that I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing this. Like, you know, my son's at home running around like they're, you know, like, but that's where I think the reflection piece comes in that you have to remind yourself like, yo, dude, you're doing something that other people are not doing or didn't do or never even attempt it, right? Like we're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be doing what we're doing, but like we are. So at times, like, you know, yeah, you never work a day in your life, but yeah, there are days where 2:15 in the morning, I'm sitting there thinking, I got to do this, that, and the other, and I can't sleep at night. And then I can't sleep the next night because I have to do something else. And, you know, some parts become a job, but at the end of the day, you have to be loving it more than the days that you're hating it.
That's awesome.
Do you guys have like what about for you guys? Do you have days like that where you're just like, this is the not fun part of doing this? Or is it, you know, like how would you guys answer that? Because you're entrepreneurs yourself too. So like what's your guys' answer?
Oh man, I remember the first time we got stood up. I was like, this
Yeah, it kind of hurts.
This
It
is how it's
sucks.
gonna be.
Yeah.
And then we're just like,
Rejection.
yeah. I knew there'd be a couple times where we just, you know, the person would just be like, yeah, let's do it, and then just never show up.
Yeah.
I mean, we did one where Derek wasn't here. We posted the episode, and then like immediately people messaged me. They're like, "Hey, I don't like how he treated you." I'm not gonna say names. You know, that was not cool of that person. Blah blah blah. So, there's been a fair share for me where I've been like, that wasn't fun, but knowing that, you know, all the messages are like, you know, like you did great standing there, talking to him, keeping a straight face, not reacting. That was where I was like, okay, people care about what we're doing. People care about me as a human. And people care about how I felt during this certain episode. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then like today I texted Derek. I was like, well, last year we had on an author, Dr. Saul Miller.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, another author just emailed me. They're like, he wants to come on, send us a book. And I was like, dude, like people are taking notice that, you know, we're being seen. Our whole thing
really
was
cool.
Since day one, we're like, we want to do it organically. You know, if we blew up overnight, I don't think it would mean as much.
Right. Yeah. And this is kind of like, so started Safe Park Golf. It's kind of a side hustle really at the end of the day. But we, you know, I really fell in love with connecting with all these people. It's so cool to meet people through social media. It's such a powerful tool. And social media does have a lot of negatives to it, but there's also a lot of positives, and that's kind of how we used it. It's a great platform for certain things. And when me and Don met in college, I'm like, hey, you know, I got this good platform. Let's continue to help grow companies, businesses, and that's kind of what I use it as. And then we were golfing one day, and same thing. We're on the golf course. I'm like, you know, podcasts are kind of taking off.
Technically, we were in the parking lot.
Okay, the golf course.
It was after the round.
Parking lot
like, you know,
after the round.
Yeah. But I was just like, you know,
What's the course name?
Was that Como?
No, it was Bunker.
Oh, it was Bunker.
No. Majestic.
It was Majestic.
We played the exact.
Majestic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm also a little older, so my brain is starting to kind of but
I'm quite a bit younger. When you guys said you guys met in 06, I was like, damn, I was 9 years old.
We did not meet in 06 though.
No.
I didn't meet Joe
Damn.
until 2014, right, Joe?
Oh, thank God. I had heard 2006, and I was like, holy
Sounds
shit.
right,
I
yeah.
heard too. Maybe it's
Wait.
2006.
No, that-
2006 clearly makes you significantly younger than me.
Should we restart this
I think I've
podcast and
lived
start over so we can get it
9
right?
years.
Well,
Yeah.
Dom,
From the
go on.
top. Here we go, boys.
I could have sworn I heard
I did too.
2006, and I was like, damn, I was 9.
But just to kind of answer,
No,
like
I think I moved here
oh, go ahead.
9 years ago. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, but so like, obviously we have full-time gigs. I work in sales. He also,
I'm an area manager.
yeah, area
That's
manager. So we
easy.
have full-time gigs, but this is something that we don't really make money on this. Like, obviously we've done paid promotions and stuff like that, like on the Safe Par page. But like it was the same thing. Like we just really enjoy talking to people and in communicating with people from all over the world. It's really cool that you guys are carving out time for us to talk about your story, and the same on our end. Like we like to take the time and learn stories from how people kind of started here and are here, right? And so I think for me, like the positivity, like sometimes on social media I got burnt out. Like it does burn you out quite a bit. Like just, you get to a certain following and it's like it's Save Par, but my face isn't behind it. And so I was like trying to like put more of my face on Save Par. Like people like, cause some people like to know who you are. Right. And so like, that's been kind of a hard thing for me. And with that, it's like, I do like to read a lot of like positivity, like books. Like I hated reading as a kid. Couldn't stand it. I would be that kid that lied in reading class. They had an accelerated reader where you used to take those tests. And I would always take like the Harry Potter, like they were worth like 18 points. So I'd be done for the whole month, whatever. Failed every time. The teachers knew it because I was just kind of the class clown. But I now it's like if you were to ask me that 10 years ago, that you like enjoy reading books and all that, and I would have laughed in your face. And so like that stuff though, like reading the positivity books, understanding that caring for people, valuing relationships and partnerships is.
How do we get on the books?
Oh, we're just talking about like.
But I want to add to that though, Dom, because I didn't see that episode that actually happened. But one of the things that I've always been big on is like I don't ever shy away from confrontation. Sometimes I might be the one that like goes after it. So, customer service tickets, we used to do them all. I don't do them anymore. Somebody else does them, and Joe does them from time to time, but people treat you with like such disrespect. And I remember like some of the ones that I would answer, I'd be like, hey man, I'm a human first. Like I'll replace your glove. Like if your glove is defective, like it happens where, you have defective cars. That's why there's lemon law, right? Like you have defective phones. So like, just be nice to me and I'm going to hook you up. Right. And I remember a Facebook message and the guy was so rude. I was like, look, man, I have no problem. He's like, my address, my email, send me a glove. And I was like, look, dude, I'll send you a glove. But what's going to happen first is you're going to call me and treat me like a human being instead of just berating me over an Instagram message. Like, I'm a human, bro. Like be nice. And he ended up like backtracking and apologizing, but he never ended up calling me. And I never ended up sending him a glove. I was like, I'll send you a glove, man. Just owe me a call. So I think like, for you and your statement, right? Like, don't shy away from that if somebody's, being mean to you, because look, you say to them like, I treated you with respect, man. So I expect the same thing back. Like, I don't know why that's so difficult for you. And sometimes like that catches people off guard. So like even hearing like what you said, like, that's frustrating for me hearing it. Cause I'm like, people forget that we're humans first.
The part that frustrated me was, they work with a company that we work very closely with.
That's how we kind of even got referred to them.
Yeah.
Originally.
And
like, okay.
Everyone talks so highly of them. And then I've had multiple people listen to that episode and they're like, what the hell was he doing? I'm like, and I went back and everyone's like, yeah, that's how he is. And I was like, that's not who I want to be associated with. Yeah. So like nothing will ever happen again with that company.
There's plenty of other good people that we talk to that are supporters of us and like that. And that's what keeps us going, right? It's like same thing. Like I live downtown, my wife's here. And Dom, treks here every day, every Tuesday that we record, after work. And there's a lot of time involved, commitment. Like you said, at the end of the day, we're human beings. Like we're not just behind a computer, just sending messages.
I love customer service tickets though. Those are the best.
No, I mean, I don't. Joe attributes a couple grays in his beard to that. I for sure probably got a couple grays there. I mean, it's true though. Even in the golf industry though, there are people like that are big names that big time you or like just treat you in a way that you're like, you don't, what you put out on Instagram is not who you are in real life, my friend. Like, and sometimes we thought like, is it just us? And then when you kind of talk to other people and you get the same sense that, a specific group or a couple people are like this, you're like, all right, so it just wasn't me. It kind of makes it feel a little bit better at the end of the day, but nonetheless, still a little frustrating.
I think that's what I think that's what I really dig about us.
That's the game. Yeah.
Yeah, we are unapologetically us. You look at Safe Spars page, that's Derek.
Correct.
You look at the podcast page that I run for us, it's very much Derek and I. Yeah. Even though I had to switch it to Dominic and Derek because people would always message me saying, "Hey, Derek," and I'm like, "I'm not Derek and Dominic." So it was just easier to switch it. But it's very much us, right?
Yeah, I remember going to college and my one uncle saying to me, "Hey man, just remember, like, stay true to yourself, stay true to who you are." And like your authenticity, like it shines. It comes through in the content that you produce. It comes through in the podcasts that you produce. It comes through for us in the apparel that we produce. Like, we're not trying to be anybody other than who we are and the lifestyle and the things that we love. And that's what resonates with people. That's why you guys have built your brand. And that's how we have built our brand, by staying true to who we are and being, like you said, authentic.
Yep.
Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, recognize you can't be everything to everybody, but you can be true to yourself, and you can be true to, whatever your vision and your mission is. That's regardless of if you're a podcast, regardless of if you're a brand. And it's probably another good, like, little segue into a lesson that you could apply on entrepreneurship too. Like, just know what your, like, direction is and know what you want it to be. And just stay that course.
I do think that would be a fun episode down the road, is to do like a customer service, just like read off some of the crazy customer service complaints or whatever it is.
We literally are thinking about doing that exact thing of just being like, it is pure comedy at times where you're just like, there's no way that this is an actual human being on the other end of this conversation right now.
It's a bot.
Like, there's just no way. Right? Like it's like, you imagine like the way this guy's talking, you think he's like sitting on like a throne, drinking out of a goblet, and like he's like, give me my free shit. Like, you're like, all right, dude, like, who is this clown? Like, it happens all the time, but at the end of the day, it's like, really, 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 I'm super appreciative of, I would be remiss not to say, like, Janine and Marshall. We have people that, like, it is not just us anymore. We have people that every single day, like, go to bat. They're an extension of Palm's, like, of Palm as, a brand. They take that berating and, like, they just continue to do their job and not tarnish our name. They do nothing but solve those problems for us on a regular basis. At times, like, we have to get involved, but, like, we're really fortunate because I hope it's because we are consistent and, like, we get the right people because the right people want to be part of this. But, like, we really do have awesome people in the building. Still only like 7 of us total, but, like, we can rely really heavily on the people that are in the business right now. And we never have to wonder if everybody, if we're on the same page. And we're just really fortunate on that stuff because, it could get hairy at times. And
we should send
there's been times where you want to blow up on people.
Email just to see the response.
Yeah, test us out.
Yeah, we should. All right, we just got a couple
send you a screenshot.
Yeah, your shit
screenshot of the text message I get.
Swatch. Where's my swatch? You said you were gonna mail it.
They'd be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. That's awesome.
Hey, what is he talking about?
Yeah,
we sell these.
Yeah, we appreciate your time. We only have a few more questions, so I apologize. We went a little bit longer. So again, we appreciate your time.
Should we try my question that I didn't text you about to see if you have an answer?
Go ahead.
With my job, I do a lot of driving. They gave me a company van, so I just cruise around. I feel very cool a lot of the time, even though people tease me because it's a minivan.
I'm in a minivan without any kids.
Dude, that's badass.
No girlfriend, no wife, no kids.
That bad.
I love my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was listening to music. So do you guys have a favorite golf lyric from a song?
A favorite golf lyric?
So here's what spurred this in my head. I was listening to Nightmares from the Bottom by Lil Wayne.
Okay.
So first of all, Carter 4, best album. Don't give a shit. So he goes, they say you don't know what you're doing till you stop doing it. Call me clueless because I do this. Attention all shooters. I'm a shooting star. Life is a course and I'm a shoot for par.
That is pretty. Oh, that's pretty good.
Damn.
Right?
He is literally a lyrical genius.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Yeah.
So I forgot to text you this because I was driving.
Well, it's good. You shouldn't be texting and driving. So
I know.
That's good.
So I didn't.
Keep that.
Really good. That's a good question, though.
I know.
Question. That's a tough question. That's
oddly enough,
our rapid fire questions aren't really rapid.
Mine was a stretch, but it is also Lil Wayne. And because it's not actually directly a golf lyric, but you could stretch it and say this: life is a beach and I'm just playing in the sand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. After you said Lil Wayne, that was an exact thing. Because like I'm David Hasselhoff in that beach.
I'm there when I'm not supposed to be, for sure.
There's somebody made like a 9-hour Lil Wayne playlist on Spotify of just like his greatest hits. And I was like, Jesus Christ, where do I start?
Yeah.
So I shuffled it and Nightmares from the Bottom came on and I was like, damn, this was like the song when I was younger. That album came out when I was in high school. I think I was a junior.
Was that 2006?
All his mixtapes are great. I mean, he is awesome.
I used to listen to a lot of his mixtapes. I have forgotten so many of his lyrics though. I used to like same thing. Like a lot of those ones that were like they weren't released.
There's
Never Get It. I don't know if you remember that one. That was one of my favorites.
There's a clip where somebody's reading lyrics to me, and
he's like, "Whose lyric is that?" He's like, "That's you."
Yeah. He goes, "Who said that?" And they go, "You." And he goes,
"Don't want that. You don't want that."
The Kobe one goes hard.
Lil Wayne's got so many lyrics he forgets. Yeah,
I like the Kobe one. Okay, so favorite Instagram account, golf related or non-golf related?
Add my question to the rapid fire.
I will.
Oh man,
damn, that was good.
I mean, it's a non-golf related Instagram account, but
cool.
I love snowboarding. So I really like Travis Rice, always appreciated that guy's like riding. So I love, watching clips of Travis Rice or Danny Davis snowboarding. So those are two of my favorite accounts to kind of follow.
Okay.
If I'm on social media, it's for stuff that just like wastes brain cells. So I like comedy stuff. And I also know him personally. I think he's funny as hell. So I really like St. Andre Golf right now.
Yeah, I answered that. That was one of my picks a couple weeks ago. I love those guys are awesome.
Yeah, my favorite is Kids Getting Hurt.
Yeah, so going back to where he said he had to switch from Dom to Derek on this because he'd always get. So I got one of those. We did the same thing, and they're like, the DM like, hey, what is that one where that kid was like, what's one Instagram account? I'm like, dude, that's all Dom. That's not me. I don't know. I don't watch kids getting hurt, but
it's my
favorite clip. It was pretty funny. It was like, what did you do? Like, biking? Jump,
so
right?
funny.
Yeah, and he jump and his face planted into the dirt.
Oh God, I saw this one where this kid's going down the slide and just fucking.
I mean, my 2-year-old, he sends it on everything, and I always think about that Instagram account when he's standing on top of my couch or at the park or something. I'm like, this dude is gonna send it.
Here's our chance.
I love
our chance to go viral.
Yeah, I love that page. Yeah, it's just funny. The kid's going down like this big slide with like the carpet, and his shoe gets caught. And he just face plants, and just the sound of it,
oh man,
makes my day.
Favorite golf logo besides your own?
Ooh.
Wow, these are good. Are you saying like course or brands or both?
Anything you want, anything kind of golf related, just a logo.
I didn't even
general.
think of like a golf course.
I got mine.
I was kind of thinking brand, but I like the
Half
course.
Moon Bay is a great logo.
I like that one.
I'm gonna beat you to this one.
Too.
You can't steal it.
Yeah, go for it.
In your mind. One of my favorite brands outside of us is Linksole, because I really appreciate John Ashworth and everything he's done and how we met Ashworth at Goat Hill. Like the guy he's too cool. He's just too cool of a human being. So, I mean, I really like Linksole for sure as one of my favorite like logos and brands outside of Palm.
That is one of the guests I want on. so bad.
Yeah.
Is Link's Soul.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Goat Hills, I've heard, is pretty awesome too.
Do
It
they
is.
go?
It's really, really cool. Yeah. It's awesome. I got two, and I actually can't split between the two. So Pasta Tiempo is like one of my favorite course logos ever. I think that one's just awesome. And then one of my favorite, it's like not actually the ghost tree for Bandon. Is just like one of the most iconic. Not really their course logo, but it's branded on a lot of stuff, and it's just so sick.
I want to add in a course logo too. Then Sleepy Hollow in New York has a really sick Headless Horseman
Sleepy Hollow in New York. Okay.
There's so many good ones, man. It's crazy.
Really, I was fortunate enough to have
Surrounded by technology.
Yeah. I was just.
Do you know how much technology we have around us right now?
Probably too much, to be honest.
This is why I have an overactive brain.
Yeah.
Bad my ADD.
What is your favorite course logo or your favorite brand outside of Palm? Because we're probably your favorite, obviously. So
I do like the palm tree, and I really do like the script writing you guys have. I was bummed I couldn't download it and made it work. So thank you for sending over a logo I could actually use.
The Sleepy Hollow one, that's you probably can't see it, but
yeah,
is that kind of the one in the lighting? Can you kind of see it?
Yep. Yeah. So I was fortunate. One of my close friends, Jay, is a member over at Sleepy. So when I have the opportunity I'm on the East Coast, he always takes me golfing there, which is a phenomenal golf course. And that's like the one. I don't really have many like course branded gear, but I do have a fair amount of Sleepy Hollow stuff because I love that logo.
That is a sweet logo.
So in terms of like my favorite logo, that's not ours and it's not your guys's. Our good friends actually, Big Choke.
Oh, Big Choke's got a cool
It's
one,
an artichoke swing on a golf club.
That is pretty cool. I like that one.
What?
I like
and it looks so good on their apparel because they embroider it. It's so good.
Yeah, we hosted an event last year in California, and they were.
Oh, that's awesome.
We met them out there. Yeah. So we kind of met a lot of the guys that we talk to on Instagram regular basis. So
they've been on the pod too. Yeah, it's pretty. Wow. It's so simple, but like artichoke playing golf. Oh man!
So
shout out the Big Choke guys.
Because as far as logos, so I'm a huge cactus and palm tree guy. So I think anything like that. So I do love the palm tree. I like Eric Landersberg. Eric Lang got the palm
Andrews
tree.
Lang.
Yeah, Andrews Lang got the tattoo palm tree with the golf club. That is super sick. So it's something like that. I would actually get tatted. Golf course wise, I was actually playing. This was several years ago. And shanked one in the woods on a normal basis. And I found a Pro V1 with the Whistling Straits logo. And that's that's a dope logo.
Dude, that one's intense. There's a lot going on with that one, but it is sick.
But it's pretty sick.
That looks like me.
It's Dom with all groomed up.
That thing.
That's Dom all groomed up right there.
Imagine getting that one embroidered.
It's pretty dope. Yeah. All right. More questions. Go ahead, Dom.
So, your first tee, what's your walk-up song?
We are just talking about this idea.
You've been waiting.
Yeah.
What is your walk-up song?
I don't remember who it was, but we had a guest, and he's like, I'm ready for this one. I was like, oh, no.
Man, there's a couple, like... I always thought if I ever made it as professional baseball, I'd be switching my walk-up song all the time because I couldn't have the same one.
I would every week.
Well, then you go first. What's yours?
Currently, I would walk up to Jackie Brown by Brent Faiyaz.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to do some research now. Yeah.
Boomers.
I actually would go with the song that I just posted on the Connor Price and Killer the AMG. This one kind of.
I can't wait till we get flagged.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna get flagged.
Applying pressure, but I'm promising make them and it has to be free.
Flag for playing this song. That means we made it. So I would be happy.
I guess I'll play Jackie Brown.
Oh my god, dude, that's such a hard question.
Yeah, this is your last one too, wasn't it?
No.
What was the last one?
Some cocaine.
I'm doing what I want.
No, it was Pop Smoke.
It was because he died.
Yeah, we had
That
Yeah,
bastard.
we had Pop Smoke as a kind of a tribute.
I'm looking
He
to
has to go out
see.
and die.
So that's a tough question. See, normally I always get stuck on this one because I'm not prepared, even though I don't say I'm not prepared because I originally came up with the question, but I mean, I'm sometimes I'll be like, what's your favorite song? Or Dom will say that. And then I'm more or less,
And like I listen to so much different music. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Joey
like-
Badass.
I switch it up too.
That's the
One of
thing.
my-
I would change all the time. Like it would definitely have to be some sort of a rap song that I would listen to. For sure, I'm probably starting with Kid Cudi. Is going to be my go-to there.
Ooh, yeah, Kid Cudi.
Like old Man on the Moon style Kid Cudi, right? Like
Oh yeah,
probably
Pursuit of Happiness,
I
or
mean, you could
Yeah,
also just do what I do every week and be like, fuck it, David Banner like a pimp. Just
Return of the Mac.
Greg messaged me
It's
last
something
week.
solid.
which one?
Return of the Mac.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one too. Classic.
Greg messaged me last week. He goes, I feel so bad. Or he goes, I'm so mad at you for calling David Banner an oldie.
It is kind of old.
I'm like,
nowadays.
it is.
Yeah. Okay, favorite cereal. We talked about cereal earlier. Favorite cereal. And how many bowls could
Captain
you
Crunch,
smash
bro.
in one
That one's easy.
sitting?
Captain Crunch, Peanut Butter Crunch. I'm pretty sure I could rip through 2 boxes in one sitting.
What about the berries? Like the one with the berries?
I don't hate it at all, but like Peanut Butter Crunch, like I could
Sure.
just demolish. Like it'd be problematic.
mine's not that cool. Mine's Golden Grams. I could crush a whole box of Golden Grams. I don't even know if they make them
Golden
anymore.
Grams are awesome.
Dude, those
I
are
think they
that's
do.
You know, I can take it one step down. I love Raisin Bran Crunch.
Oh, I hate Raisin Bran.
Oh,
I love
dude,
the
it was going
granola
so
with
well.
the raisins.
Everything was going so well. to
Yeah,
this
we're gonna have to
point.
restart this podcast again.
done.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we
God,
were
delete
right
it.
here.
I love the granola.
So the next episode we're gonna have together, we're just gonna grab. It's gonna be a cereal talk, and we're just gonna go through all of your customer service
Oh my God, please.
complaints,
You have a lot.
and
Lock
then
it
we'll
in.
see how
I'm in.
many boxes we can rip through in one setting.
I do
Yes.
really love fruit.
Okay, pizza rolls. How many can you hit in one? I haven't had pizza rolls in a while. We had this conversation.
He sends me a picture.
I was at Target the other day. I sent a picture of just like a huge bag of pizza rolls, and it really had me thinking, like, dude, me and Donham should definitely just crack that open one podcast episode and just crank them out.
Who's gonna throw up first?
All right.
I don't want
Dude.
to throw up.
I'll throw up first.
Yeah.
Well, first off, pizza rolls are Russian roulette, right? Like how recently were they out of the microwave?
That's you got to bite the little.
So hold on,
corner,
hold on, hold on,
let it-
hold on.
let it
Air
flow out.
fryer.
Are you
fryer.
microwaving it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I
that's
would normally
listen, man.
microwave it, but air frying is the way to go. I think, right?
Air fry. Okay, I didn't realize we were being bougie about this. Like I haven't had
2024.
pizza rolls in mass
Air
consumption
fryer.
since I was in
We're
college.
stepping the podcast back up to another level where we were at before.
I didn't have an air fryer in my dorm when I was ripping pizza rolls back in the day.
Yeah.
But no, dude, those I don't know. I pride myself. I think I can eat a lot of food, like a lot. So I could probably house an entire bag by myself easily.
It's true though. It's like the corners. You got to bite the corner off a little bit,
Test it out.
let it steam out.
Yeah,
and then go.
Yeah, you could be round over after the second one if you catch
For sure.
catch one of the
I
fireballs.
think I could eat more mini corn dogs than we could pizza rolls.
God, I love corn dogs too.
No.
So hold on. I found out one of my staff, he's a senior in high school, has never eaten a mini corn dog because he's like, how do you eat them with a stick? I was like, there isn't like, what are you talking about?
That's a violation.
I know.
Corn dogs?
I'm like going through the handbook. I'm like,
It's on a toothpick.
I'm going through the handbook. I'm like, can I fire him? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Okay, last question because I feel bad that we've kind of really extended longer than we've had, but we've had a great time, so we really appreciate it. But we always ask a
likewise.
food related question. Dom, you can go ahead and ask the final question, whichever one, however you want to spin it.
God, which one do we want to ask?
Let's say
If we visit you guys, where are we gonna go eat?
I mean, first thing I would do is ask you what you were in the mood for. So, what are you
What
in
a
the
nice
mood
guy.
for right now, Dom?
I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
This is where Derek and I both say we don't know. You pick.
yeah, we're like, well, we want the most like authentic, like your favorite. Like if you're starving and you're like,
So for reference, I love tacos.
yeah,
I love burgers.
za,
Yeah, man.
pizza.
Pizza's okay.
Not like the East Coast. I'm Pizza's the last on my list.
Okay. Yeah, and East Coast. Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking you to St. Joe's Tacos for sure in downtown Huntington Beach because their chubby sauce is delicious. I mean, anybody who visits me and they want tacos, I'm like, we're going here. Like, this place has great tacos and burritos, which was going to lead me to the question to you, Dom, is you had a Chipotle burrito for dinner, but like, is your go-to at a nice taco joint? Like, what are you getting? Like, what
Tacos.
is it? Yeah, but which kind of taco? Like, how are you making your taco?
Oh, carne asada.
Asada.
Okay.
The only kind.
So
that or is it pollo asado chicken?
Pollo is a chicken. Yeah. Pollo asada. I would go with
The whitest.
carnitas tacos. My wife's Mexican, so she like brought me to like the authentic Mexican restaurants that I never knew existed here in Minnesota, and they do exist. So yeah, like I was kind of blown away by the carnitas tacos.
I brought this taco thing over. It's called the machete. And I shit you not, his wife and then his sister-in-law came in, and his sister-in-law goes, "Bitch, is that a machete?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Great, good choice." I was like, "I haven't even opened it yet." You can do.
Yeah.
I was like, "What the hell is this?"
That's what I'm taking you. I guess that's the choice that I'm picking. What do you got, Joe?
We're going to In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. All right. I'm always game for In-N-Out.
It's like a less.
We're going to In-N-Out, and we're going to Bear Flag.
Yeah, those are good. There you go.
What is Fair Flag?
He said Bear Flag.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it's just like a seafood place, but it's like how would you even describe that? It's like it's all like locally seafood. It's all fresh. Yeah, it's all fresh caught. Like good poke, good burritos, good tacos,
good mahi taco.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a poke burrito. It's out of this world. It's the go-to every time I go there.
Absolutely.
Fellas,
salmon poke burrito.
It's been amazing having you guys on, man. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much again for taking the time. And seriously, let's take that up. We'll do a little roundtable discussion with some cereal and some customer complaints.
Dude,
let's
lock that in. I'm in.
Let's do it at the end of the year. That way, you guys can accumulate.
Hopefully, they're all good ones. But you're always going to get the
okay. Nobody does customer complaints if it's good.
That's true.
Like I've never gotten an email. Oh my god, Dom, your service was unfucking real. It's always you suck.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean,
but no, thank you guys too. By the way, seriously, we appreciate it just as much. We're not doing you a favor by being on this. Like, we really appreciate you having us on. It's been awesome talking to you guys. And yeah, I mean, not just swatches. We'll get sizes after this too. We'll get a care package your way as well.
So really get swatches though too.
Yeah, we want to be. If you do swatches though, we can.
I'm not doing the swatches, man.
I'm gonna just I'm like going there.
Yeah, just order me an extra large polo. I normally use large, but just cut around it.
We'll just cut it down.
We could do like a crop top.
Yeah. Derek's polo is sleeveless next time we see him.
It's a belly top. You guys are the best, man. Honestly, yeah.
Do not be surprised if one of the polos you receive from us is sleeveless and cut like a crop top. And yeah, we will expect to see you take a tee shot with your sweet new swag on.
For sure. Yeah. And I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys just on the walk-up song too, if you want.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Awesome, man. You guys are the best, man. I really appreciate it. Great to meet you guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right, take it easy, guys. See ya.